I've spent over 100 hours in Hogwarts Legacy now, and I discovered lots of hidden locations that you can easily just walk past and never notice. Here are 7 such secret places, both in the Hogwarts castle and outside in all parts of the open world, places that I especially liked or really didn't expect to see in the game. I want to start with a location that I called a chess game cave. The location is quite close to Maronween village. It's basically walking distance, although I actually found it just flying around the area on the broom. So you make your way to a small bandit camp nearby the Maronween village. In the tent there you will find a magic stone that you need to bring up all the way to the entrance of the cave and cast Glacio on it. That's how the cave opens. Anyway, the fun part begins of course after you get inside. In the cave there is a magical chessboard with a chess game almost finished, and as soon as I saw it I immediately knew that I had to complete the match somehow. It's certainly a clear and nice reference to the Philosopher's Stone chess match, where Ron Weasley had to become a knight himself and directly take part in the game. And here, in fact, we are looking for a missing knight too, since neither of the pieces on the board is interactable. The only object in the cave that you can cast spells on is a chair. So I literally tried every spell in my arsenal on it before I realized what now seems pretty much obvious: the chair should be transfigured, and it becomes a chess knight. Next thing you wanna do, you place it on one of the patterns so that you can checkmate the white king. 2 options possible, as for here in this situation, either 2 patterns to the left or to the right of the king, according to how a knight moves in chess games. I've tried both and the correct position was to the right. The king fell and I was the winner. A reward for this mini quest is a piece of gear, and above this a warm feeling inside after reminiscing about the book and the movie scene. And now I want to show you another location that impressed me in a rather chilling way. To get there, we start from the Blue Flame Point West Hogwarts Valley and walk, or rather fly up the mountains to one of the Merlin trial spots. That's how I discovered this site actually, when I was busy completing Merlin trials. And if you climb up a little higher from the Merlin spot, you'll see a dead lady. She lies near a tent, surrounded by what seems to be healer's tools and medications. You can pick up from the body what is probably a page from the diary of the lady or observation journal. And this note explains what may have happened with the poor lady. She was a healer and treated a patient with dragonpox. And as we know, in the wizarding world, it's one of the most dangerous diseases, in many cases lethal. The lady also mentioned in her diary that all her equipment must be sanitized properly because the infection is highly contagious. Yet we can assume that she must have failed this job, unfortunately. But what bothers me the most in all this sad situation is the reaction of the main character, or rather the fact of no reaction at all. I mean, not even a word on how we should at least tell authorities or let anybody know about this corpse. Let alone no compassion or sorrow for a person who passed away and lies here covered in snow, far from many people's settlements. Nothing. Isn't it weird? I mean, abandoned castle ruins or a Merlin spot obviously evoke more emotions in our character than a dead person lying in a lonesome place for who knows how long. And if we come back several months later, the lady is still there, all her belongings untouched, and no one cares. In my opinion, it is one of the saddest scenes in the game. Okay, let's move to more positive pictures though. And this time we travel to a beautiful location that lies to the south of Poitiers Coast and the Phoenix Cave Blue Points. It is a domestic Quidditch pitch, and it looks so cool. And this is like a normal pitch. It has scoring areas at each end, baskets for goalposts at a different height, and you can of course totally tell it's homemade, a little crooked, but it's so nice at the same time. And I can absolutely see young wizards playing here, siblings or kids from the neighborhood gathering in small groups like 2-on-2 or 3-on-3. That's how they would practice flying and other basic skills, or just have fun. That's how students spend their holidays at home. And here I like the whole landscape. It's very beautiful, it's charming and truly magical. Next hidden thing that I think is worth mentioning here is a story that can easily remain unnoticed. It starts and ends in the village of Peterbourne Ford in the northern part of the map, but you should pay attention to a couple of easy to miss details. Several townspeople in this region would complain about a rampant Dugbog that scared them and they don't know how to get rid of the monster. You can also collect a note warning about rampant Dugbogs in the area. Nevertheless, you do not get a quest on the Dugbog. However, at some point you'll see a pictogram on the map for an infamous foe in this region, to the north of Upper Hogsfield near the East-North Ford Bog. And it is exactly the Dugbog the villagers refer to. And if you're interested or bored, you'll be able to locate and defeat the rampant Dugbog, after a fight with a couple of average ones. In fact, you'll beat it the same way you defeat any Dugbog in Hogwarts Legacy, so the fight itself is not the point. But you will only learn the story if you care to come back to the village. And there you can pick up a note on the bench that says how happy the locals are that the monster no longer is, thanks to a brave soul. And if you additionally speak to the vendor Indira Wolf and ask her the correct question about rumors in the village, ta-da! Apparently people know that you were the one who took down the Dugbog. And she says thank you. Quite a humble gratitude for defeating a super dangerous enemy that everybody was afraid of, but at least we know that another village is free and contented thanks to us. Now, these were the distant open-world locations, but Hogwarts Castle itself is a world inside the world. It has many surprises and details hidden inside the mazes of levels and behind secret doorways. For example, if you enter into the Gryffindor Tower hallway or walk from the Faculty Tower of Blue Flame, you will see a big painting on the wall that illuminates in blue if you cast Revelio next to it. And there is in fact a secret room behind it that you can open easily if you have already acquired the Depulso spell. So you get into sort of an artist workshop. It is filled with portraits and paintings. Of course, you'll loot a piece of gear and you'll pick up a note that belonged to a person who used this place to hide away and create all the artwork. And since we are speaking about secret locations that are opened with a Depulso spell, I found two very interesting spots that I now think are artifacts left over after creating the Hall of Herodiana quest, aka Depulso quest. The locations are literally called Depulso Room 1 and Depulso Room 2, so not much of a mystery to solve here. The entrance to Depulso Room 1 is from the long gallery that goes all the way from Bell Tower Courtyard behind a doorway locked with a level 1 lock. So this is how the initial idea of the Herodiana puzzle looked like. You can actually move the platforms in here, but of course there are no quest items, so these are just decorations. And we can see yet another version of the architecture draft in the Depulso Puzzle Room 2. It lies not far from the Depulso Puzzle Room 1 in the Bell Tower Courtyard area of the Bell Tower Wing in the Hieroglyphic Hall, right beside the History of Magic classroom. And because both initial Depulso puzzle rooms are close to the History of Magic classroom, I couldn't help but had a feeling that the quest bottom line was first supposed to be more connected with the history of magic, and not only just with the Depulso spell itself. The platforms in this room were not interactable, but still, I wanted to share it with you because I think it's a funny artifact and plus it demonstrates how much effort is required to create every single location in the game. I also want to quickly show you where to find two secret rooms that you can access through fireplaces. The first is in the library. In order to crumble through the passage, you should first cast Glacio on the fire and extinguish it. Behind the fireplace there's a small cozy study with an extra loot chest. Actually, the glowing chest gave me the idea to try and look for the way here in the first place. The second room is 3 levels down from the hospital wing and 1 level down from the prefect's bathroom. Or you can go up from the grand staircase. The room was locked with the 3rd Alohomora, so it's not a low-level location for sure. To be honest, I don't know whose office it's supposed to be, but some high-ranked professor, because I saw here Professor Weasley chatting with the headmaster at this door. So the fireplace leads you to a wooden staircase, and on the higher level you'll find quite a big room with additional loot and an incendio field guide page. And if you love the game as much as I do, you can check out my video about reasons why Hogwarts Legacy Online is very likely to be the next step for the Avalanche. Thank you for your attention, see you at Hogwarts. Knox.